Welcome to the Live Bright Show, the pod for badass service-based entrepreneurs who are creating businesses and lives that are fun, successful, and free. And now your host, seven-figure business owner, coach, and founder of the Live Bright movement, here to help you own your potential, Molly Moran.
What's up, my friends? I am here with Libby DeLucien. She is a serial entrepreneur. She owns two SaaS companies, Woot Recruit and Service Cart. She also owns Organize It, which is a cleaning and organizing company with several locations at this point. We'll hear about it. She is a speaker. She is a coach. She's a current coach, not a coach. She's a coach. She's a podcast host. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's a nonprofit founder and leader. She's fit AF. She's spicy. She's bold. She's also a good friend of mine. And I am so glad to have her here with me. Welcome, Libby.
Hey, I am super excited to be here.
Yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So we were just talking briefly. You are in like Hurricane Central. You're not yet drinking the drink hurricanes. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm okay. I exhaust my body so I can calm my mind.
It sounded like you said I dust my body so I can
exhaust
calm my mind.
my body so I can calm my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the only way to not like let the stress of just anything like business, a hurricane coming straight towards you, not overwhelm you and eat you alive from the inside out.
Yeah, you're so good at that. And I literally just had another conversation this morning with another entrepreneur, and she's high performing. She's like, every day I go to CrossFit and if I don't, then the rest of my day is impacted. Like I have to, like, it really helps regulate her. And I totally get that too. Yeah. So you exhaust your body. So your body is currently exhausted. It's 2:00 on a Monday afternoon for you. And so you're like, your stress level is not quite as high as normal. Is that right?
That's right. Yep. And I did it at like 6:00 this morning.
Of course you did.
But yeah, it really helps. And then just, we can't do anything to control what's happening. Like, worrying about it doesn't help. So I'm a preparer/planner. So always having a plan and forecasting, kind of like looking beyond what's right in front of us at the current moment.
I love that. I love that. So I'd like to, you're all about mindset, and where I'm sure that's going to get woven through this whole conversation, which I'm really excited about because it's been really fun to have like a front row seat sort of to your growth. I mean, when we met, you had a cleaning company and you did not have a SaaS, much less two, much less how many locations do you now have for your cleaning company?
Three.
I mean, so I'm going to ask the question that everyone wants to know. Do you sleep?
Yes. Yeah. I sleep really well, actually. No, I contributed it all to having great people around me. Right. You can't do none of this by yourself. You can't even be successful, I would say, by yourself.
Right.
If we look at some of the top, like just athletes, people, performers, they have coaches, they have mentors, they have people on their side that help them build this with them.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, yeah, it is really true. You can't grow and scale the way you have without having a whole team. Pretty soon, I'm sure I'm going to like see you at events and you're going to have like your whole entourage, like and I know Chris already does certain things for you, your husband, but you're going to have like a full entourage of paid people too. I'm like certain of that one of these days. So Libby, I usually start by asking people like how they decided to like take the entrepreneurial plunge, but you're different than most people in that you've actually never worked for somebody else, right?
No, I come from a family of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And then when I went on my own, I was my own business. So I was I was a subcontractor. I contracted myself out to various things. But I've never worked for anybody else. I've owned several different kind of businesses. I've had a bar, I've had a restaurant, I've done rentals, I've done all kinds of stuff. And really, there's some things I'll never do again, like the bar business ever.
Yeah.
So hard. But I do love it. And I think it's like that hustle that some of us inherently have. But then I also think you can learn it. Like there's so many people I've met along the way that didn't start that way. My husband being one, and he's learning that hustle side. And so it's amazing to see.
What do you mean by that hustle side?
So I think it's that side of, craving something more and knowing that you're going to have to put a lot of work in with no return sometimes. Like when
Yeah.
you start a business, you have to be able to hustle, to have that drive, that passion, that energy, and know that, hey, like my paycheck is no longer guaranteed.
Right. I know. What has given you like the confidence and the clarity to basically always have this hustle? Like most people, like their first jobs are like, I don't know, like, babysitting or working in retail or working in a restaurant or whatever it might be, and there's always a boss. But like you have like truly never done that. So where does that come from for you? I mean, I know you say you have an entrepreneurial family, but what's inside of you or where does that come from for you?
So I think it comes from like growing up. I worked for the family business. We all had to work for the family business for like little to no money. Um, when you're kid, and I say when growing up, I mean, I remember having my first job at like 6 or 8 years old, like dealing
Yeah.
with customers and money, actual giving change and money.
Yep.
And so I learned from a young age to work hard, and then also seeing my dad and my family, my uncles, they all work. They just taught me like what it is to work super hard for yourself. But they also taught me some things that I didn't kind of uh, keep doing, which was to physically keep working hard. I learned to work, that harder, smarter, not harder, to work with my mind,
Okay.
not my hands as I got
Okay.
older, which where I saw
Mhm.
my family, they continued to work with their hands, right? They continued to do the harder things. And I think that's one of the reasons that helped me scale so fast is that harder, not smarter, or not smarter, not harder
Smarter, not, yeah.
analogy. Um,
Yeah.
where, unfortunately I still see my dad working hard with his two hands. Um, and so I
Does he
learned that
enjoy
because
does he enjoy what he does?
oh, he loves what he does.
That's good. I mean, so then,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And yeah, so there's different ways of being, but yeah, you definitely, I mean, you have started in the last 4 years, like how many businesses? I like wouldn't even
Well,
guess.
I started organize it in 2014. We just did professional organizing at a pure necessity. I was going through a divorce and I needed a job that was a super low startup, cheap. I could
Yep.
control my time. Added cleaning in 2018 to organize it. And then in 2000 and it was 2021, January of 21, I launched my first SaaS. And then in 2023, we launched the second SaaS company.
Yep.
And then this year we launched 2 additional locations for Organize It so that
Right.
we're not like leveled by the hurricane. There's some more income coming in.
Right.
Because let me tell you what, owning a business in South Florida is not fun during hurricane season.
Let's talk about that. My gosh. So how do you navigate that? Like when whether it's a professional challenge or a personal challenge that literally just tosses your business upside down. Like how have you navigated that?
Well, I think for business owners, COVID did the same thing to us, right?
Hmm.
It's an abundance of pressure because you're personally worried about your kids and your family and your house. Then you're
Hmm.
professionally worried about your employees, and then you're responsible for those employees' families as well, like income and making sure that your employees are taken care of. And then you have your customers. Then you're also worried about your customers. And so it's coming at you from different angles. And for me, the best way that I found to deal with it is again, exhaust the body so that your mind is calm and you're not operating from emotion. Have a plan. So we have like an emergency response plan. Have
Hmm.
a plan and coach, and you have to coach and mentor your customers and your employees during this time. You have to be that like positive focus, that like that beacon that they're going to for just tips and positivity in a time when it's so stressful and uncertain. So I'm spending a lot of my time posting videos in our private chats to our employees, emailing our customers, and just being that source. So we're providing like all the tips that you would need to survive, like emergency response plans, prep checklist, how to evacuate, what shelters are open for pets, because no one thinks about the pets and you don't
Right.
have anywhere to go. We made a pet like prepare like checklist for your pets, because so you don't forget things. And that's what we want. And that's what helps me get through it, is to help them prepare. One, it kind of distracts me, but two, it helps us just help others get ready. And that's all we can do, is just be there for each other. But you have to have a strategy, right? Also with business, we have to have a strategy. I shift all my money to Facebook because everybody's on Facebook. I shut down my Google AdWords. We have a post recovery plan. So how do we sell without being insensitive? How do we still sell with empathy? And so we have a post plan. So the way I get through it, honestly, is just by prepping and planning and trying to stay in front of the emotions of my employees and my customers.
Yeah. And serving. You're serving. I mean, that's a big part of what, so prepping, planning, serving, and staying in front of the messaging. That's amazing. I mean, and so I bet because I know you've now I've watched you go through a couple of significant hurricanes at this point in time. So have you become like the go-to, like, because it's like you're a big part of the community at this point as well, I would think.
Yeah. So we shift a lot of our focus to just tips. And, I posted a video yesterday. It already got like 7,000 views here locally.
Wow.
In Fort Myers. And so it's just being open and transparent. And again, being that beacon of positivity in this time, because we can't control the weather, but what we can control is how we react, how we plan, and how we treat others.
I love that. So I'd like to kind of shift a little, because you said like we can control how we react. And you've got, a podcast called Fearlessness. You do tons of mindset, like you are a coach and you do lots and lots of mindset work. Where does that come from, and how has that changed you? Because you're a different person than you were when I first met you and became friends with you several years ago. So can you talk to us a little bit about that transformation?
Well, it's a long story.
Good. I like a story.
So, I was like this prior, like when I owned some of my other businesses, but I was in a very, 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 like negative, abusive relationship with my ex. He was an alcoholic, and I will say the years of that really took a toll on me. And so when we broke up or split up, however you want to call it, I started to get that back because I had it, I'd kind of lost it. And then I started to get it back. And I think so many people think that I changed so much because they met me during the downtime, right? And I'd already had it, and I'd been through tons of coaching prior in my past career, life, whatever you want to call it. And so when I started to focus on it again, it came to me so much faster because I'd already been there. I was starting from experience and not starting from zero. And so I think that's why everyone has noticed the fast like ramp up to mindset. But I think also I listen to other people, and when my businesses grow, I reach out to close friends and mentors and say like, hey, what's the next thing I have to do? What should I do? And all of them tell me the same thing every time, whether it's approaching your first million or your next million or opening another location or a SaaS company, it's always going to be you or the bottleneck. You are the thing slowing the business down. And over the years, I've seen that it's true. So that's where that mindset focus has kind of shifted and become. And I think I'm just more passionate about it too, because coming out of an abusive relationship, it's all mindset. Like it's amazing what our mind can do to us and how much we beat ourselves up over just like simple words or thoughts.
That's amazing. It's what it sounds like to me. It's kind of like you've gotten back to yourself. Like I'm sure like a better, even improved version of old you, but like this is the Libby that was there before that bad relationship and that hard time.
Yeah, this is honestly, it's funny because when Chris first met me, my husband, I was like this. And
like what? Wait, like you are now? Like,
yeah, when we first met. Yeah. Because it wasn't necessarily the relationship that did it, because I was still super like confident and had great mindset. it was a few things that happened after like that relationship ended, which was like a horrible custody battle. Losing everything through like the court system. And then sadly, my ex ended up passing away and then having to deal with our kids through that process, right? I took it like almost as my job to make sure our two kids, because I had two kids with them, that my two kids saw their dad in a great way. Even if I didn't think so or believe it at the time. So I felt like it was my moral obligation. So it became very tolling on me. And then once we did break up, even when I was married to Chris, before he passed away, it was still extremely abusive because he was trying to get sober. But I had to, this is going to sound horrible. I had to deal with it because I had two kids that I didn't want to take away from him. This is a whole nother child topic, but I had two kids and I didn't want my kids to spite me over them keeping them away from their dad.
That makes sense. So you weren't just looking at yourself and your own self-preservation. You were like, okay, I've got these kids. They have a dad. He's like really not perfect at all. Not that anybody is, but he's got a host of issues, unfortunately. And so you were like, that it's like almost like you were at like two different people, like you're two different minds. Yep. Almost like this, you're like on the inside, like this is you, I'm sure you had all these feelings about how you had been treated and how he was treating you. And then you had your kids that you were trying to be like, listen, look at these good things that he did since he died. Yep. So that, wow, I'm not a mom, but like, it's pretty loving.
Like you literally have two split personalities.
Right.
Because for a long time, like I hated him, and hate is a strong word because you're coming from a place of like pure emotion and
right,
like abuse and mistreatment. But then how do you not show that to your kids?
How did you do it?
Oh man, I can suck it up. I can suck it up and I can take anything, Molly. I can just put a
You're
smile
tough.
on and I can take it with grace and class. And I'm like, you would never know.
You are tough. You are definitely one of the tougher people I know, for sure. For sure. That's, so has that experience and then others in your life, the name of your podcast is called Fearlessness. Fearlessness. And you have a book coming out, which I'd love to talk about. Do you have a name for that book yet?
I do. So it is nothing to do with like fearlessness, really. I mean, there's a lot of stories in it, but it's about really the things I do to live a profitable life, right? Not a profitable business, profitable life. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot of it's very tactical. We talk about a lot of structures and systems, but that you can use in your personal life, your professional life, with your kids. Because I didn't want to just write a boring business book.
Right.
So it's called One Layer Deep. Yeah.
Interesting. One layer deep. Okay. Okay. And I know about you and your playbooks and different things. Okay.
It's a very tactical book.
Interesting. Like, so that actually leads me to another question I had for you, which is like, you are very clearly a visionary. Like you have a gazillion ideas. You currently have 6 businesses or however many, I've lost count, like a lot going on. Plus you're a planner. You've got a lot of amazing things going on. And you're also extremely tactical, extremely process oriented and good at it. So how do you navigate all that?
So it's funny because everyone who meets me wants to give me an assessment. And most of the time it's men.
Because they can't figure you out.
Because they can't figure me out. So it's most of the men that I know in business, like other coaches and other partners I've had. They want to give me a Colby and a DISC and a Myers-Briggs and like all these assessments, the culture index. And I break all of them.
Are you serious?
Yep. They come out inconclusive.
That is so interesting. What is that? What do you like? What does that make you think?
I don't know that
you're fucking special. So you're real special.
Well, all of them say that, it's because you're going through a transition or a stressful time in your life. I'm like, that's every day. So I think I am different because I am a visionary, a very, very high visionary, but I'm also very tactical. Like I'm super organized and I love processes and organization and structure. It makes me happy. It's my happy place. But I will say that I suck at the execution of them.
Of the processes. You can create it and then you're like, yeah.
So that's where I have like any people now that I bring around me, I know what I need from them. I don't need visionary people. I don't need ideation, and I don't really need people to go and create or ideate. I need executors. And I kind of find that out over the last few years when we bring in like high level leadership or people into the companies. And I found that out with my assistant as well, because I went through a couple assistants until I found the one. And I need executors. Like, here's the process. I need you to not change it. Don't modify it. Right. And if you do, first you have to give me a presentation on why it's better your way. And just take it and run. And so once I figure that out, I'm good at starting it, but I'm not really good at following through with that execution. Just like most visionaries, I get bored.
Yep.
And
how do you,
it's knowing that I need those people.
Yeah, that's smart. No, I'm like, interestingly, like, I think I'm a visionary as well. And I actually am not terrible at process at all. But then I'm like, I don't want to manage this shit. I don't like, so here it is, do it. If you can improve it, don't change it unless you're going to come. I haven't gone so far as to say, create a presentation for me. So I like that.
Yeah, that's the new thing I've been doing over the last year for anything, even a project. Because how many times have we given someone in our business, hey, this is your quarterly project. And then you're like, well, where is it at? How do I find it? Or if they get fired or they leave and you don't know where it went. I now have everyone do, we're a really big fan of asynchronous management. So like everything is a presentation, record it. So I can watch it at my own time. Everything.
Where do all those presentations live? One layer deep?
Yeah. So right now they live on a Trello board.
Yeah. Nice. One layer deep. When's your book coming out?
I don't know yet exactly. We're expecting at the end of quarter one of 2025.
Okay. And then is there going to be like a book tour? Is there going to be like a book tour?
I hired a publisher. So I'm going to do whatever the hell they tell me to do.
Okay. All right.
So I felt like Libby, I could have went out and bought like a nice BMW or a Tesla. And I'm like, I want to do something that's more impactful, mainly for my children and my family, to like leave that legacy. And I was lucky enough that I was in a group and I had the introductions to a great writer and publicist, right? So I kind of just said, I'm just going to do it. I'm probably over about $100,000 in right now. And I told Chris, I'm like, this better come out good. I expect to make no money, right? Authors are not rich. Like they're not rich unless, uber successful, but I expect to change lives and really make impact on my family and my kids and leave them something. I didn't tell anybody this really, but I'm also writing a children's book.
Really? What are you writing? What's the children's book on?
So it's going to go in line with the book because my ICP needs to buy it to read it to their kids.
Your what does?
ICP, like your ideal customer.
Okay.
Have just children.
Yeah. Okay.
We're talking about family frameworks and like how you get your family involved with this planning, like with the one layer deep. So we're writing a children's book to kind of go along with it so that because how many times does someone read a book to their kids? They don't read it just once.
Right. Over and over. So talk about so you're trying to like generate change generationally here. Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. Hey friend, a quick break to ask you to please go to livebrightshow.com to be added to my email list. Here's the thing. I hate email, so I pretty much guarantee you're not going to receive anything excessive. Only important things like when I have new options in my coaching program, offer free challenges, new courses, release a new pod, or perhaps an occasional biz life tip. That's livebrightshow.com. Now back to the pod. So this is book 1 and 2. Do you have like 4 more in you? What do you think?
No, no.
No.
But since I was doing it, I didn't want to spare. And here's, I think, the one thing we do in business is like when we do something, sometimes we do it like half-ass. Can I cuss?
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you sure can.
Um,
This is not a
and
family-friendly pod.
Good. And I'm tired of like either doing it half-ass or having people tell me how I'm supposed to do things. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do it and I want to do it right.
That's awesome. And it's interesting that you say that because you're not somebody that I would think would do something half-assed. Like you're like kind of an all-in type of person.
Yep. And that's why I'm all in.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I look at how you structure your health and what you do with your family and your businesses. That's like the last thing I would say is you're half-ass, except that you have gotten so fit that you have no ass. I will say that, but
I don't.
you do have half an ass. That's the only half-assed you are.
I've been working on it. All
right. Well, geez. So, Libby, you've got such cool stuff going on. How is it working you work really closely with your husband, and some people will listen to this and they'll already know you, but then lots of people don't know you and who will be hearing this. And, Libby and her husband, I think you're his boss, actually.
I am.
Is that, yeah.
So he doesn't technically own any of the businesses.
Okay.
Actually, he didn't even help me start them.
Right. But he's always been a very supportive spouse, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's because he had his own career and his own thing. And unfortunately, because of COVID, he went 2 years without any work.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Because he was in live sound. So there was no concerts for 2 years.
That's right. So how has the transition been having your spouse come and work for you, basically? And you also have other family. Let's start with your spouse. I want to talk about having your other family working for you too. How has that worked? How has that worked out?
So I was totally against it when it first happened. And he started in the cleaning company first during COVID because we were slammed. And but I was totally against it because with my ex relationship, right, my ex spouse, we worked together and it was absolutely horrible. It was horrible. It was all the things that you've ever read about. It was absolutely horrible. But now I know that it was me. I didn't have the proper expectations and clarity and communication skills to work with a spouse. And so when Chris came in to the cleaning company, he didn't last long. I fired him. And he didn't last long. And then in the SaaS company, I did have a partner originally in the SaaS and he wanted to bring in my husband. And I said, okay, but he doesn't work with me. I don't tell him what to do. And he reports to somebody else. Right. And so when they brought him in, he reported and he worked with my partner. I've since then bought my partner out from the SaaS company, but that's how it started. And Chris, they worked well for a while and he did great. And I also matured and I grew up. I think when you're in your 20s and you work with your spouse, it's way different than, when you're in your 40s and you're working with a spouse.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
So we work great. He's an entrepreneur. He's very supportive. He now wants to create his own business. Eventually.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And so I feel like that's great because eventually my job will shift to support him, one day because I'm older than him. And he's young, like he's only 36, I think. And
yeah.
I feel like he's learning and he's getting primed and he's getting taught how to do this so that when he does do it, he'll be confident in that ability.
Yeah.
So that's exciting because I think he has more potential than I do.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. Wow.
Why?
Why?
Because
yeah.
Why? He's very intellectual. He's very smart, very intellectual, very book smart. I'm not. I'm just street smart. Like
bullshit. You're very
hustle.
No, you're not pure hustle. You're incredibly smart. But anyway, keep going.
And he's learning the things because I've put him in some of the groups with me, some of the mentor groups. And he's learning the things that I learned at 40 and 42 and 44. He's learning them at 36 and 37, 35.
Oh, so you're just thinking he like has more time than you did.
He has more time because he's exposed to more. So it's like that compounding effect. Where I'm like, I wish I knew these things at 36 years old.
Right, right. Well, cool. I mean, what a power couple you're turning out to be, right? I mean, that's kind of awesome. How do you guys separate and structure your life so that, and maybe you don't, I don't know, but how do you structure so that you have boundaries around business talk and family, because you do spend an awful lot of time together working and doing it all.
So I do work with my mother, my sister, and my son as well, and some of the other businesses. So this kind of goes into play with all of them. I don't really believe in like time management. I think it's kind of, I think it's also very elementary, like kindergarten theory of I can manage this, I can manage time, I can separate my work from my personal life. I don't believe that to really be true. I think it's the way you manage the energy and how you commingle them together. Because as an entrepreneur, Molly, you know this, there is very little separation in our personal lives versus the business. Very little. Our businesses is who we are. Our core values is who we are. And so I think when people are struggling for that like time management and boundaries, I think they're thinking about it the wrong way. And and I think we have seasons as well. Like maybe this season of my life or the business or your personal life needs more of you. And that's okay. So just being observant and managing your energy, right? Versus trying to manage your time. And it's okay to not have boundaries sometimes, and sometimes it is okay. But the way we do a lot, Chris barely doesn't work on the weekends, and we understand that because he's more of that employee mindset. Things will eat him alive and he can't sleep and it keeps him up. So he needs those boundaries. And I need to be aware that he needs them. I'm okay. I can still sleep at night. But I'm okay. So yeah, so I'll work on the weekends, but it's just being observant of, how does this person take on stress and how do they handle risk and what are we sharing with them? Like he doesn't need to know everything.
Right.
So, and then we also separate communication, and I do this with my family members as well as Chris. If it's work, it goes in Slack or email. I don't care what time of the day it is or night. And if it's personal, we text each other through our phone numbers. I never mix the two, and same goes true with all the other businesses. And when I'm at my mom's house trying to eat Thanksgiving dinner, she asks me about work stuff all the time because she doesn't know how to separate it either.
That's so interesting. I love having the different communication. Having that, I've worked on that just with my office team, because it's like, no. We don't need this and that. Like, we don't need all these different channels. Like, because I like to be able to, sometimes I do turn off channel. Like I'm like, clearly I don't have Slack open right now while I'm talking with you. Right. And
Slack notifications are off. So you could call that turned off. And I look at it if I want to look at it.
And when you want to look at it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like that. I really love what you're talking about in terms of like identity, because I find that people who are not entrepreneurs really don't understand that, because they have a job and they go to their job and then they're done with their job, and then they might have a gazillion hobbies. And I'm like, I don't have that many hobbies. Like I like travel and I like fitness and I like family and friends, but like, you're not going to find me knitting. I'm sure that's a big surprise to you, Libby, but you're not going to find me like,
I thought you knitted the sweater you had on.
Right. And I've always been that way. And even like before I was an entrepreneur, I don't know. So it's kind of refreshing, because I feel like I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a huge part of my identity, is that I am an entrepreneur. And when I and yes, there are other parts of it too, spouse, sister, daughter, like, friend, like all these other things, but it certainly is a huge part. And I can't just be like, and I'm going to put that away right now, because it doesn't.
Yeah. But I think so many people shame you for like, you get shamed as an entrepreneur, like, oh my God, you need balance. You need to like turn it off. And I'm like, well, yes, sometimes I do. Like, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Margaritaville on Monday and sat in a lawn chair and drank margaritas.
All right.
But, then I worked at night, like, or in the evening or in the afternoon, I followed up.
Right.
So it's managing the energy. You're not managing your time. It's like, when are you the most productive? When can you get the most done? When do you feel like looking at it? And I think sometimes we get shamed because there's this like time management thing that we're chasing to like balance family and life and business, when in reality, it's a chase. Like, you're never going to get to perfection, right? You just
No,
have
you're gonna constantly be iterating. That's for sure. And
it's a constant cycle of learning and adjusting. And that's why I said there's seasons to who needs me more right now, my family,
right.
my business. One of the best things I did, Molly, to help get Chris and my family on board with business and how much, why mom's working at this time, or is I do my couples quarterly and family quarterly before we do the business quarterlies.
Oh, we share a little bit of share what that is with us. I know a little bit about it, but I think others would love to hear about it.
So I have a structure where I take our family through a mini quarterly, but my couples quarterly is even larger. It's 2 days. The family quarterly is like, it's not very long. So it's just a meeting. Typically me and Chris leave for about 2 days. We do a staycation or a hotel, and it's where we dive into our personal goals, aspirations, and also business goals and aspirations. Why? Why do I do this 2 days prior? I do it 2 days prior so that when I walk into the company quarterlies, I know exactly how much I can give. I know where I'm needed the most. And in that way, I don't overcommit or I get too sucked into something. It also helps prioritize my family because I'm putting them first and they understand that. And I'm there and present to the things they need from me that quarter. And then the business fits inside of it.
That's amazing. So it feels to me like I'm just like thinking like I'm like, you're such a leader in all parts of your life right now. Like, where does that come from, and why do you think you're that way? Because you're leading your family, you're leading, and you've got people who are on board and whatever, but you're driving the train. Or you drive trains? Yeah, you drive trains. You're driving it in 4 businesses or whatever. Where does that come from?
I have no clue.
I love it. Good. Yeah. You're creating a life for yourself. And so,
well, I'm creating, everyone talks about like legacy. What's a legacy? Well, it's different for everybody, but my version of a legacy is to create a life that I never want to retire from. Right? Because I love what I do and I'm so passionate about what I do for a living. And life that I never want to stop.
well, it's interesting you say that, because a little while ago you were like, well, and then I'll be supporting Chris too, because he's younger. And I was like, she's not going to stop working. I'm sure you're going to support Chris, but I can't imagine because
I didn't mean stop working. I mean, just support him.
Okay.
Like, be a supportive spouse.
Oh, okay. Okay. My bad. Well, Libby, we only have a couple more minutes. I really am so appreciative of you and your time and space and insight. I do have a question for you about your podcast, which is called Fearlessness. Where did that name come from? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
It actually came from my husband. Chris
Ooh.
came up with the name, and he goes, he's like, you're fearless. Like, you have to have this fearlessness inside of you to keep getting through all the things that you've been through. Like, whether it's like growing up the way I did, like we were poor, like, yes, we were entrepreneurs, but we were by no means well off, going through abusive relationship, burying my ex, taking care of all that, going through like the COVID, the Hurricane Ian. He's like, you have this fearlessness that comes out in you. And he goes, you should find out like what people's fearlessnesses are, like how they become fearless when they're up against adversity or up against a wall, because that's what gets us through it so that we can then keep growing to the other side. Because I 100% believe that all of these things that we go through in life are for a reason. They just help us get stronger and better so that we can achieve the next thing. Because people asked me the other day, this was last year, not the other day, how did I get through the hurricane? Like, that was Hurricane Ian 2 years ago. And I, I looked at Chris and I said, man, this is like a piece of cake compared to like having my kids taken away and hidden for 2 weeks and I couldn't find them.
Perspective, right?
This is like a piece of cake. Like, yes, it's stressful. Yes. Like, but this is easy compared, not easy, but it's not as bad as that. And so you look back, and I don't think we're very good at looking back. So you look back and you're like, wow, when I put this in perspective, I was able to get through that. So I can get through this. And that's that fearlessness he said I had inside me. So he came up with the name of it.
I love that. That's awesome. And I've been in so many rooms with you and I'm like, fucking A, Libby, like you are fearless. And I've seen you go. I mean, like you are, this is the Live Bright show, and to be Live Bright is like, there's like a lot of boldness in living bright. Like that's the B of brightness is boldness. Right. And you are as bold as they come. I love it. It's such a good example for people in our industry. As long as
you say with all due respect before you say anything, it's okay.
Is that what you've learned? With all due respect, I'll try that. I don't think it works like that. I love it. All right, Libby. So we'll put it in the show notes where people can find you. But if you want to highlight one or two of your top spots for people are looking for you.
Sure. I mean, my website is my name, LibbyDeLucien.com. I'm the only Libby DeLucien in the world. Easy URL to get.
Very nice.
And it's also all my social media handles, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Okay.
But nothing in particular.
Okay, cool. We'll put it in the show notes. And like, I'd like to wrap up with a little bit of just rapid fire dumb questions for some laughs. You can say skip if you don't want to answer. I already know the first question I'm going to ask you and be like, I don't do that. So anyway, so are you game for a little rapid fire fun here? Sure. Would you rather? All right. What's your favorite pizza?
Oh, I don't eat pizza.
I don't eat pizza. See, all right. I knew, and actually I know the answer to the next one too. What's your favorite movie or TV show?
Oh, I don't watch TV.
I know. It's so great. Okay. That's all right. All right. Okay. Where's your next big vacay spot?
Oh, going on a cruise to Jamaica.
Ooh, fun. When are you doing that?
In November. Hopefully all the hurricanes are gone, but in November. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. What hobbies do you have?
I like to work. No, I like to learn. I do love to read. You could call reading a hobby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I really do enjoy learning. So I like going to places to learn from people in real life. So you could call that a hobby. I do love traveling as well. And I do like drinking really good, expensive wine. If you could make that a hobby.
That could be a hobby. Absolutely. What's your favorite wine?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the kind is Cabernet, right? I like a dry cab. But I don't have anything in particular. Just if it's expensive,
you heard
I want to try
it. You heard it here. If you want to give Libby a gift, get her a really good dry cab. All right. So all right. Would you rather? You know how you play? Would you rather? Okay. Would you rather spend a week in a submarine exploring the ocean and beauty down there, or a week in a spaceship circling the Earth?
Spaceship. The spaceship. I am a little uncomfortable with water.
Yeah. Okay. And you live in Florida on the coast.
I do. I can't swim.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fearlessness. Maybe you need a new
I signed up for a triathlon, so I had to learn how to swim.
Okay. So you can swim. You can swim now. Okay, good. All right. And would you rather have a permanent mustache and beard that you cannot shave, or have your hair grow 10 inches every night?
Oh, I don't know. I would say my hair grow 10 inches every night. It's already pretty long.
It is long. That'd be a lot of maintenance though. Okay. So grow your hair. Okay. All right. And then last question for you. This is not really silly, but it's a little more serious. This life that you have, this like kick-ass, badass life that you've got going on, would you say it's by design or by luck?
It's 100% by design.
100% by design. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not really a fan of luck, right? I think that you can take a risk, and if it pays off, right, you're lucky, but it didn't really have a lot to do with risk. You have a lot to do with luck, is that you took the risk. So I think it's by design, but I think the way we become successful is by taking risks. And sometimes they pay off and sometimes they epically fail.
Yeah, that would be unlucky.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Awesome. Well, Libby, it was super fun having you here. Thank you for being on the Live Bright show. Always great to see you. And I can't wait to see you in real life one of these days. And stay safe during this hurricane. Okay.
I will. I'll try.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Live Bright Show. If you enjoyed this pod, please go to livebrightshow.com to be in the know for new program offerings and podcast releases. Molly has more awesome guests and content coming your way, so you're going to want to be on that list. Also, just because you're still listening, it would be incredible if you could go ahead and subscribe to this podcast and provide the show with a 5-star review. You know how they help. Go forth, have fun, and live bright, friends.